Black hoodie energy. First and foremost, thank you for watching. Secondly, look, I told y'all this game was gonna look like trash. Not this game, but like this idea. We've had a deep, extensive conversation in a previous video concerning Spider-Man being on Marvel's Avengers and why that's a bad idea in multiple fronts. The main one being, one, exclusivity issues, which kind of do that, which you can't really do anything about. So that's, you just kind of just charge that to the game, right? That's a bar. You'll catch that later. That's crazy. I just did that. Gotta, hold on, Jamal. Don't get the 9. Oh, Jesus. Secondly, and the biggest issue is that Insomniac Games already dropped a perfect Spider-Man game and then doubled down with it with Miles Morales. Anything that happens in this game is going to be looked at under like a way more of a fine-tooth comb than probably this deserved, but that's what happens when you do stuff like this. Criticism is warranted at that point, so you have to make sure that you take care of what's proper. They better make them look fun. They gotta make them look fun. If not, this is a bad idea. Anyway, we're talking about Marvel's Avengers. I watched this trailer already. I wasn't gonna do the reaction. This is requested. So we're gonna watch this thing, but we're gonna talk about why all the different issues I have with this and why, realistically, if they scrapped it, I don't think anybody would be mad about it. And this is coming from a person that likes Marvel's Avengers. I need to be clear about that. I am a Marvel's Avengers apologist. Shout out to homie Paul. You ain't gonna leave me alone. I know. I see you in the comments, bro. I see you, boy. This is not a good idea, and it don't look good. And I'll be honest, this preview that IGN does really sounds more like a review because he is not mincing words about this thing. Here, look, it's 5 minutes. Let's talk about it. It's not good, bro. Like from the opening scene, I'm just like, the only good thing that you see in this thing is like you see different outfits. But guess what other game has a multitude of different outfits? Insomniac's Spider-Man. So why are we here? Like Spider-Man if he had a dad bod.
Avengers, if you're playing on PlayStation, that is. I recently got the chance to spend 2
Why does Spider-Man look huge, right? Like he looks like fat. He don't look athletic. He look bulky, bro. And by the way, this is the footage that they provided to them. And he says this in the review, but they didn't even provide them smooth 60 frames per second footage. They said, hey, use the PS4. That's fine. Like I don't know what Crystal Dynamics are thinking or what they have been up to. And I really don't like doing videos like this where it just seems like I'm just bashing, because again, I am a fan of this game. I think that's why I'm a little bit more passionate about this than I have any right to be, because I put hours into this game. It's fun, especially with friends, and it plays great when 60 frames is showing. They don't even show the best version of this less than best version of Spider-Man. So how am I supposed to take it seriously or take it realistic? I'm talking too much here.
I came away looking forward to using his abilities more, but a little worried about what it is I'll actually be doing with them. Quick note here before we get going that all the footage you're seeing here has been provided by the developers and not captured by us.
Look,
so may not illustrate exactly what
it looks so bad
here. Peter Parker's introduction to Avengers is slightly different to previous DLC characters. Called a hero event instead of an operation, Spidey doesn't have any of his own story missions, but instead feels...
So, first issue, outside of everything else that we have mentioned, right, is that he does not have his own story missions or campaign missions. Every other character that's been included in this, Black Panther, both Hawkeyes, the male and female version of Hawkeye, have all had their own storylines to complete, at least a mission or whatnot. Instead, what they're doing, and you'll see this in a second, they're adding animations and phone conversations to kind of introduce him into the game, where you can do the same exact thing you've already been doing and grinding in this game, but just with Spider-Man. But only for Sony and PlayStation consoles. This is a bad idea. I don't know how much more do I have. This is bad. This is not good.
But instead feels more akin to a character joining a hero shooter roster. As with every other Avenger, Spider-Man comes complete with his own unique moveset and slots right into the frantic action. With a combat style largely centered on quick evades, perfect dodges and quick-fire melee attacks, he plays somewhat similar to a more nimble Black Panther. While a lot of his strikes are your standard punches and kicks, every now and then a more Spidey-like contextual animation will trigger, which feels entirely in keeping with the character. As with any of the Avengers, he also has 3 heroic abilities. Web Bomb causes area...
Let me show you something real quick. Look at this footage. This footage, right? This is from the PS4 version of Marvel Spider-Man from Insomniac Games. Look how much smoother it looks. Even the combat. Now, the only thing I really want to focus on is the combat, because other things and other mechanics you can't really worry about. This version of the game was built around the swinging mechanic of Spider-Man always attaching something to the web. The other one from Marvel's Avengers is not. So immediately there's going to be a disadvantage as far as how things look in that regard. But look how smooth everything else looks. This is PlayStation 4, base PS4, last gen PS4. Watching? All right, cool. This is current gen. Well, we're assuming it's current gen. It could be PS4, and if that's the case, that's still bad. But whatever version, this is a newer version of the game, a newer iteration of Spider-Man. Y'all really look like he got more pounds, right? This is the newer version of this.
And is naturally useful for crowd control, but also inflicts the new webbed status effect onto enemies. Once that status effect bar is full, a webbed
it don't even look fun or fluid.
That fires webs at any
this has the same issue Nintendo's going to have if they try to replace Sakurai in Smash Brothers. The bar has been set too high from previous iterations to the point where it is just a bad idea. This may have worked if Marvel Spider-Man wasn't perfect, or if it hadn't came out in the last couple years, or just been remastered for PS5, or just announced Marvel Spider-Man 2. If there was a time where none of that was on the table and this game came out, we'd probably rave about it more. With that being said, that's not the case, and we are here. They are still pushing forward with this thing, and I don't think they should.
Or set it to follow mode, offering some welcome flexibility on the battlefield.
Even the animation for him spitting webs looks stupid.
It works in a similar fashion to Thor's Bifrost ability. Spider-Man.
Right, okay, so that I thought was cool, right? You see how they have the spider web that he's able to kind of summon and smash down like Ala's Marvel vs. Capcom special. But check this out. Even the animation for this, you can barely see what's happening. Like, you can't even see the full ball animation and impact, so like it looks bad. It looks not good. And then they haven't even gotten to the web swinging yet, but they're about to now, so check this out.
Hero design has never been Marvel's Avengers problem. The same, sadly, can't quite be said for how it feels to play as Spider-Man outside of a fight, though. In this preview build, I got to swing around the eastern seaboard region, which is the closest we're going to get to Peter's native Queens. A very high bar has been set by Insomniac when it comes to the fluid motion of Spidey, but even allowing some headroom, Avengers falls quite some distance short of it. Opting for the swing off of anything method, Spider-Man effectively swings from a glass ceiling in the air. In fairness to Crystal Dynamics, this is the only real option, with the majority of Avengers locations being rural, such as deserts and snowy tundra.
The thing that a lot of games, well, a lot of Spider-Man games before, like they thought that they had to nail the swinging mechanics, right? And that's true, but the big thing is the momentum-based mechanics that come with the swinging. That's the thing that kind of makes Spider-Man fun to play. It's like the ability to read, react, do quick, nimble, agility-based things, right? That's the gimmick for Spidey, is that he's fast, so you want to go fast. He's not unlike Sonic in that regard, where it's like if you're playing a Sonic game and you realize that you're not running fast, it's not fun. So anytime you have a situation where it breaks that momentum and breaks that fantasy of that superhero, the game becomes not fun. The reason why Marvel's Avengers is fun up until this point is because with the other characters, you have those moments where you feel powerful. It's cool playing through certain things in the story mode, don't get me wrong. The big fun part and the selling point of Marvel's Avengers for me has always been when you play with other people and combine powers. It gets nuts. You blasting the Iron Man ray off of Captain America's shield to do more damage to enemies around you. Hulk smashing people while Hawkeye's raining down arrows in the sky. Even using Kamala Khan to slap people up and alley-oop them into other folks like Black Widow's grenades. Fun! This does not look fun because other games have done this to a higher degree. And so there's so much that they're limited to do here where this won't work. It won't work the way that they want it to work. And now, of course, you're going to have a few people that's like, well, I enjoy it, that's cool, but overall grand scheme of things, this is not the greatest idea or the best representation of Spider-Man. We had that already. Why are we here?
Swinging freedom is noticeable, and while maybe it's unfair to compare it with the Insomniac version, it's honestly questionable whether the swinging here feels any better than Spider-Man 2 did on the PlayStation 2. All illusions are broken once you attempt to swing modern.
He said the swinging is comparable to a PlayStation 2 game. Now granted, that PS2 game is a classic, but that should not be in the question here. Making comparisons to a current or last gen system game versus a PlayStation 2 game that was released 2000 and early what? That should not be a sentence that formulates together. That should not be a thought that can run concurrently with this review.
The lack of content is definitely frustrating, and those expecting a new set of Spider-Man story missions to play will be left disappointed. One thing that Spider-Man doesn't lack, however, is outfits. Crystal Dynamics' latest addition to their Marvel Skinematic
Now the
universe
outfits look
comes
really
with around
good.
40
Like
suits.
this outfit is
There's
dope.
every color under the sun imaginable, as well as some fan favorites.
That Spider-Man Noir joint, that's hard. That's hard. Even this one's hard. It's like the Deadpool armor, kind of, sort of. Like, that's hard. But look at all the detail that they put into like armor like this, right? This is dope. This is probably the prettiest the game's gonna look too. This looks great, but if it's anything like the rest of Marvel's Avengers, it's going to be a grind to unlock those costumes. And then we right back here, like how long do you really expect people to play this version of Spider-Man? Well, there's a better version of Spider-Man on the PlayStation. Legitimate question. Like, I know y'all did y'all best with this, and this is dope, but like you gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them. And at this point, it's like this is a fold, bro. This is a fold, man. What are we doing here, bro?